Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hi.
another week of the Port Haven Streamcast. What is this now?
Woo!
Is this like week
11.
11? Wow, I wouldn't have even
We've
guessed
been
that.
and I don't think we've done episodes on different days, but I don't think we've actually skipped a week yet. So that's a pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh
I don't think we have either.
so that's we're doing good.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
That's crazy that we've done 11 weeks.
that is pretty crazy. This is the most consistent thing we've done
Right?
in in the 7 years that Port Haven has
Haven't-
existed.
yep.
I was joking with Jess. This won't matter to most of you, but somebody on our forums posted a new thread that was supposed to be a weekly thing, and
Hmm.
as soon as it was posted, I'm like, yeah, that won't last a whole
Don't
week.
forget. Well, he's not going to be on all this week anyway, so
Oh,
he's not
that's
going
true.
to be doing.
He's on a talking fast in Kuala Lumpur or something like that. Anyway, um, thank you for all.
Sarge knows all about spiritual walks. You should ask her about it.
Oh, really?
Voltix!
Is
Hi,
this?
Voltix. We got Voltix, Kiana, Sargent in the chat. They're all long-time fans and friends, and fans.
But we are here this week, and we're glad you're all joining us because we want to talk some solo.
Woo!
So some exciting stuff going on as I guess, coming up on a month. I guess it's
Oh
still like
man.
a month and a half, I guess.
The
It's getting
I think
closer.
the only thing that hasn't allowed it to fully set in is there is still Infinity War between now and Solo.
Right, right. And you still haven't bought your tickets yet, so.
They haven't gone on sale. Darn it! I was thinking they were gonna go on sale when they dropped the trailer because that's been Disney's mo lately.
Hmm.
But I they didn't, so they didn't drop. So now I'm wondering if it's not going to be till Star Wars Day. They might go on sale Star Wars Day. That's the new scuttlebutt.
Yeah. Sarge, let me see if I can. I don't know if I've got the chat bot turned on. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
get that.
we started a new fancy chat bot on Tuesday, and we wanted to see if it would work if we didn't have it open, but we'll just pop it open real quick.
As long as it
Yeah,
doesn't kill the stream.
right, yeah. Yep. So Star Wars Day is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And then Cinco de Mayo is actually Revenge of the 5th. So it's a 2-day celebration. But no, the new trailer dropped on Sunday. Anybody who's familiar with this channel will know that I was very excited about it because I posted it for all of you to see. How excited I get when there's a new Star Wars trailer. I realize though that I might not see a new Star Wars trailer for like a year now.
That's such a strange thing nowadays because they have spoiled us for at least I am so used to having
Right.
constant Star Wars that the thought of not doing that now, like
Yep.
I don't know how to handle it.
Especially after going through so much of a drought between Sith and A New Hope, or not
Right.
Sith and A New Hope, Sith and Force Awakens. But yeah, I saw the trailer. I was really I think the part that got me the most excited was seeing Mala, presumably Mala.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'd like because Lumpy's already back in canon, so the idea that Chewie's family still exists is kind of cool. Because obviously the Star Wars Holiday Special is so hit and miss with people,
Right.
but I like the idea that Chewie is a family. I know there've been a couple people on Port Haven who haven't liked that idea because it makes Chewie kind of an absent father, but I feel like that disrespects how important family is
Right.
or not like it's important, like to Chewie he's being a good father by showing how important the life debt is.
Right. No, it's interesting to me. Um I wasn't able to watch the trailer live, but I watched it later that evening.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just so excited, and I feel like I get more excited for this um, every time we get something new, this was a film that I didn't know if I would be excited about, honestly.
Right.
I was going to see it. I'm not one of those people where, it was a question of whether or not I was going to go see it in theaters, and I'm sure I would have enjoyed it either way, but I was not initially necessarily excited for this film. But the more information we get, the more stuff we get, the more I am really excited for it. But yeah, and for the record, we want to talk about the trailer some today because it's the newest trailer and probably, I'm guessing, the last trailer we'll get for Solo before it comes out. Unless there's a different one that airs when Infinity War comes out.
Right.
Which I don't know that I would expect that.
Yeah.
But,
no, I think this is the one we got.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is the last one we're going to get. But so we want to talk about it, but we may not go into a lot of depth just because we already have a half-hour-long video that just did that's on our channel already breaking down the different parts of the trailer, and you can check that out there.
Yeah.
But we do want to engage with you if any of you have thoughts or things like that. And Sarge, I think the bot should be working now, maybe. So if you want to...
if you want to dual Voltex, you're good to go.
Duel to your heart's content. But we also, there's a lot of other kind of media that's coming out either between now and the release of the film or shortly after. I think it's all pretty closely timed in there that we want to... Yep, there goes the bot.
There's the Lobot.
Yep, good old Lobot.
I'm too proud of that name.
Well, I'm glad you're the originator of that name. You came up with it all by yourself. Had no help from anyone. But we do want to talk about some of that stuff today.
I'm really excited for a lot of this.
So I'll just put this to you. I know we don't have a lot of people in the chat right now, but are you all planning on seeing Solo in theaters? Like, what is... every time I get more and more excited about Solo, I feel like the internet just says, "Oh, I'm still not excited about this," and I'm really curious if this is just the way that the internet works now, and fandom on the internet is different, or if people are actually excited about this, because I just feel like I just get more and more excited. But
I was always excited to see Solo. It was crazy that we didn't see anything until the Super Bowl. It was like February,
right?
And we'd seen a few troll images by Ron Howard on the internet, and that was it.
Right.
And I was excited to see the movie. I knew I was going, but I had no idea what I was in for. And then when I saw that first TV spot and then the trailer, I just freaked out because it looked better than I was even expecting. I don't know really what I was expecting, and it's not like I had low expectations. I just had no expectations,
right?
I guess. And then to see it, I was just like, man.
Well, and I get really frustrated too because I feel like, one, just this general idea that we have to hate everything online now bothers me.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of the things that I see people specifically hating on are the things that I specifically enjoy. Like, I was talking to someone the other day, and this might have even been in some of our Port Haven stuff. I think Jay might have said this, but he was like, "Oh, it just sounds like video game music to me." And I'm like, The music was one of my favorite parts of that trailer. Like, I don't understand how people, like, how this isn't...
Well, that's kind of an insult to video game music, too, because I don't know what games he's played, but I played a lot of games that have a pretty fantastic soundtrack.
Right. Sarge asked what we thought about the actor playing Han, whose name, I will admit to you, I still cannot pronounce.
I think it's Alden Ehrenreich. I think is how you say it. I've been pro Alden since before he was cast. He was on the short list. Yeah, he was on the short list of like 3 different actors that they were that rumors were going around, and I had seen it. It's such like a hipstery thing to say, and I hate even saying it, but I'd seen him in Hail Caesar, which is a Coen Brothers movie that more people needed to see because it was darn hilarious.
Yeah.
And he played he had a great part in it, and I was really rooting for him, and then he got cast, and I was really excited. So, and everything I've seen in the trailer, I think the way I've heard it explained the most is that he's playing, I think you've even said it, like he's playing Han Solo, he's not playing Harrison Ford playing Han Solo.
Right.
And that's the most important thing, I think.
I mean, and I like that too, because I don't like the idea that an actor would try to do an impression of another actor playing a bit. You know, like that feels inauthentic to me in a way where if he can just say, this is my Han Solo, like when you had the next James Bond, you know, not that Han Solo is the same as James Bond, but when you had the next actor playing James Bond, they didn't try to play Sean Connery playing James Bond, you know?
Right.
And like, I just feel like that would be a mistake. And I feel like it would be a mistake to necessarily try to cast a younger Harrison Ford. Like, I think, you know, even in the casting decision there, I think it was smart to say, let's find Han Solo. Let's not find, you know, 25, 30-year-old Harrison Ford again. But yeah, so in my head, I just call him Alan Alda because that's the closest I can get. But I also understand that that's wrong.
Right.
Let's see. Trying to catch up on chat here. Yeah, Sarge, I can't spell it or say it or anything, so I'm right there with you. But yeah, so I get really excited about this. Just the more I talk about it, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
So are there?
Well, and I think as far as casting goes, it's been pretty unanimous that Donald Glover was like born to play young Lando.
Yeah, no, he definitely. I mean, not only looks the part. I mean, I like Donald Glover already, but he just, I don't know. Lando just has a feel to him, you know.
Yeah.
Like because, and I mean, and really, I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but I feel like Lando Calrissian, like in Empire Strikes Back, is Billy D. Williams in a way that not a lot of other Star Wars characters were the actors that played them. Like even more than Han and Harrison Ford, I think.
Right, or even like Samuel L. Jackson and Mace Windu.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because, you know, Samuel L. Jackson is kind of Samuel L. Jackson and everything.
Right.
Not that which is a great thing,
sure,
by the way. But and in a way, I feel like it's almost more daunting to be Lando Calrissian than Han Solo.
Right.
Because I feel like even though Han is arguably a more, like, as being a main character is a more well-known character, there's more to work with there, where it's like Lando was such a character. It's like, how do you play Lando without trying to be Billy D. Williams being Lando? Like, how do you make Lando your own?
Right. Congrats, Sarge, on your duel
on your
victory.
Duel.
That's
right.
But,
earn those midichlorians.
But I think one of my favorite things about the trailer, which you know, I've always kind of assumed it would be this way, but it just feels to me that it's not so much just a Han Solo film as it's also a Lando and a Chewie film. And I feel like all of my favorite parts in this trailer were Lando and Chewie stuff.
Yes, I would completely agree.
Like I love the Chewie bits about how old he is, and I saw you got into some Twitter stuff about that.
Yeah.
But
don't even talk to me about Star Wars Twitter. Star Wars Twitter is such a love-hate relationship that I have.
I had some fun with that yesterday also. But I think my favorite line altogether, I mean, especially because it was just, I don't know, it felt kind of like a call out to The Force Awakens also. But when Lando says, everything you've heard about me, it's all true. Like,
it's so good.
Like, that was just, it's just such a perfect Lando thing to say. but like the connection now to the Force Awakens also, I don't know, I just like that.
Right, I noticed that line too. It's like, it's true, all of it. I feel like there's a lot of things in Solo that are going to somehow connect to the Force Awakens, because I thought of that, and then I also think to Han talking to Finn, and he's like, listen, big deal, you've got a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Women always find out the truth, always. And I that line played through my head in both in the first trailer when he's talking to Kira, and she's like, I know everything about you, or whatever her line is.
Right.
It's like, I know who you really are, I think is her line. And he's like, whoa, who's that? And I'm like, that he's thinking of that moment. He's not thinking of anything with Leia. He's thinking of this moment.
Right.
Like, she finds something out about him, and I feel like they're doing that. And I think it's appropriate, because this is not the beginning of Han's life, but the beginning of Han as we know him. And then, of course, with Force Awakens, we go to the end of Han's life.
I mean, and one thing I like too about Lando also is, I mean, I know we get this in some of the Legends novels, and we've seen this a little bit so far in new canon stuff in the Lando comic, and then was it he had a interlude in, I forget which Aftermath book it was in.
Oh yeah.
Was it Empire's End? Where he's talking about a present to get for Ben, and he's like, I'll buy him a gun.
So Lando.
But then he also didn't he have a story in from a certain point of view also?
Yep, it's one of the last ones. Yep.
Because he recognizes the ship.
Yep. And he questions how on Earth Han Solo could ever have become a hero.
Right.
And then there's a Lando comic by Charles Soule, who's the same guy behind the Poe Dameron comics right now, and the current running Darth Vader series, which I got from the library. Don't tell anyone. Not that there's anything wrong. It's just I always feel bad where I'm like, I didn't actually pay for your thing that I read, even though it's legal. But he's behind the new Vader comic as well. But he wrote about. He wrote a Lando miniseries that's great. Lando accidentally steals one of Palpatine's ships.
Right.
And there's like Imperial Red Guards on it, and it just goes crazy from there. It's a great story.
But so one of the things I really like about this film is that I want to see Lando before Lando goes respectable. And we don't really have a whole lot of that in new canon. Like when Han makes a comment about how Lando is all respectable now, I want to see Lando before that. I mean, because, I mean, obviously this ought to be more obvious than it was to me. But even just the fact when they're calling Lando the best smuggler ever.
Right.
Like, that's not something that would have occurred to me to call Lando. Is, like, definitely like a con man or something, but, like, specifically a smuggler. Like, even, I mean, Lando's been he was in Rebels some, too.
In Rebels, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just really intrigued by that.
Yeah, and I've loved seeing them. And it's sad because a lot of people have wanted to see Lando in the films, like in the sequel trilogy, and we haven't. But he really has been in the new canon expanded universe.
Yeah.
More so than a lot of the other kind of supporting characters.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of felt bad as soon as I started talking about he hasn't been in it much. I was like, well, he was in this, and then he was in that.
Well, it's funny but it's all like ancillary stuff, and I think that's what's kind of cool about it. Like, he's in interludes in Aftermath, and he has a comic miniseries, and he's like in an episode of Rebels, but he hasn't had like a lot of time devoted to just him. So it's easy to like kind of forget, but he's kind of comparable, really, to what they've been doing with Mon Mothma. Like, there's no Mon Mothma book, but she's around.
Or Masameda, too.
Right. Yep.
Who has been very prominent in new canon stuff, and I've been trying to push for a James Luceno Masameda novel for a while.
Oh, I would pre-order the crap out of that.
But so if anybody has particular parts of the trailer that you want to talk about or things that stood out to you, we can talk about those things, but again, we don't want to retread our whole
thing.
video that we did.
Sarge asked a while back, we hadn't got to what we are hoping to like learn, like what kind of new thing are we hoping to get out of this movie. And I don't know that I have a specific thing I want to learn, as much as it would be nice to learn something.
Right.
I talked about this in my trailer breakdown, but what I would love to see is the time period that this movie takes place in. The Empire is in full build the Death Star mode, and they're trying to figure out how to do it. And what's making it difficult is they have to build it without anyone figuring it out. So they're going to planets and taking all of these resources and having to put them places.
Right.
And they're coming up with these elaborate things. And you have like the Thrawn novel where Thrawn figures it out because he's Thrawn.
Right.
But not a lot of people have really figured out what's going on. And I would love to see references that we, the audience that knows the Death Star is coming in approximately 10 years,
right,
would get, that the characters, even Imperials in the movie, wouldn't get. I think that would be really fun for me to get to see.
Well, one thing, when I think about it this way, on the one hand, I honestly don't know that I want to learn a lot, because I don't want this to have like huge canon implications, because that idea is scary to me. I just want this to be fun. I do want to see kind of the stuff that I expect to see, where, you know, Han ends up with the Falcon and stuff like that, more about Han and Chewie's friendship. But no, I think that's a great idea, and it reminds me of in Leia, Princess of Alderaan, how there is that Imperial officer who goes unnamed, that's just looking for resources, that I know you have at least assumed is Krennic.
I really think it's Krennic, but
and
I might tweet Claudia Gray and see if she'll answer me.
I would love to get some like, I mean, I don't even know, like a cameo for Krennic. Was that too much? Or like just like,
oh, I would lose my mind if Ben Mendelsohn showed up on the screen again.
but I would love just some throwbacks to that. Even stuff like Rogue One. So I watched Rogue One again the other day, and like even like the Doctor, was it Evazan? I never remember how you say that name.
That system, 12 sentences.
But just even stuff like that, like that's what I want. I just want this. Like, I don't need to learn a lot about like this era of canon or anything, or like deep details about Han's backstory and life. I just want this movie to be fun and to be full of references to things.
And I think we have a good shot at that too, because it looks like there's going to be a big old battle on Kessel.
Sure.
And Kessel could be where they got a lot of the labor to build the Death Star, especially after I'm going to get super in depth here for a second. I apologize, but like after the Geonosians were no longer the slave force in the Death Star, I think Kessel's like the next best place to get slave labor, basically. So I think there's a good chance at that sort of thing too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm super pumped.
I'm also excited. We wanted to talk a little bit about this too, and we're about at the halfway mark, so we can switch gears a little bit. But we also wanted to talk about some of these novels and comics and things that are coming out for this.
I will pull up the blurbs.
All the blurbs.
Blurbs.
Get ready to be blurbed.
Blurbing it up, blurb style.
But I've got some of these. So which one of these do you want to talk about first?
I am currently looking at Last Shot, since that's the first one that comes out. So I think it's the 17th.
Yeah.
Yes, 17th of this month, so just a couple of days. There's the Last Shot novel. It's about Han and Lando. It's by Daniel Jose Older, who wrote, this is his first novel in Star Wars. I think his first entrance into Star Wars was his From a Certain Point of View story, which I really liked. It was about this disgruntled stormtrooper. It was really good. It was one of my favorite ones. So I'm even though that was only a short story, I'm excited to see what he would bring to a full novel in Star Wars. He's an accomplished author, just not written for Star Wars before. I like this. This might be a book I just go buy, which I never do in the hardcover because I love this cover. It's reversible and
Right.
it looks super awesome. But it's quoting now from StarWars.com. The story spans the decades from the time before Han and Lando ever met to a time after the destruction of the Empire. Last Shot features two of the biggest scoundrels in the New Republic on their most dangerous adventure yet. So it jumps from different time periods. I like the fact that the title is The Last Shot, considering it's such a big thing that Han shot first.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put that together. I'm sure that's intentional.
I just did today, just today it occurred to me.
Yeah. But no, so I'm excited about this. I like these type of novels that kind of tell these stories over time. It reminds me of like Lost Stars, which is another one of my favorite new canon novels. This idea that you can see these interactions over time. Yeah. But yeah, so this book, I keep forgetting how soon it's coming out.
Yeah, I have a hold on it on the library from the library already, but I'm probably gonna be weak and just go buy it.
Yeah,
because the cover got me. It's too good looking of a cover.
Yeah, it kind of has snuck up on me. But no, I'm really excited about this too, and I really liked that Daniel Jose Older story too. And one of the things, I mean, this is maybe kind of a cop-out if you want to think about it this way, but I like how much other authors that we like have talked about how good this book is. I've seen Kevin Scott talk a lot about Daniel Jose Older and some of the stuff around this novel, which we know that he's doing some solo stuff and got other secret projects that I haven't yet been able to goad him into giving me details about.
Dang it, Kevin!
I thought you were our friend.
I tweet you about Rebels all the time, Kevin.
What's an NDA between friends?
Right, exactly.
But
we'll only post it everywhere. Come
right. But speaking about Kevin, why don't we can talk about his contributions.
Well, he has
coming
several.
Up too.
So
he does. Oh, you pick one, and I'll go where you.
Let's start with his Choose Your Own Adventure or Choose Your Destiny.
Choose Your Destiny.
Han and Chewie Adventure. So this is going to be a younger reader book, but I am really excited. Having read his installments in the Adventures in Wild Space series, which this is like half of our channel's Adventures in Wild Space. I've loved this series so much. I'm really excited to see what he would do with a Choose Your Own Adventure kind of story. But again, from the StarWars.com. Jump inside the Millennium Falcon and help Han and Chewie as they journey across the galaxy on a simple smuggling job. But nothing is ever simple with Han Solo. And when things go wrong, Han pretends to be Jabba the Hutt to save himself, Chewie, and the Millennium Falcon. And it goes on from there. So this Kevin is just a lot of fun. He was great to talk to. His books are a lot of fun. So much of his inspiration comes from his children right now. So he's pretty much the best person to have writing kids' books. So I think this is going to be fun. This is, if to be completely honest, if anyone else was writing this, I probably wouldn't care.
Right.
But because he's writing this, I care.
What it makes me think about when it says he's going to pretend to be Jabba the Hutt. I mean, that's surprising to me that people would not know what a Hutt is. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
How that works.
But what it reminds me of is, that scene which most people hate that I really like that got added in the special edition to A New Hope. You know how like that originally, like before they decided what a Hutt was, when it was just like this guy in like a big fur coat. Like that's my imagination of Han pretending to be Jabba the Hutt. Like I'm just gonna look like this gangster kind of person.
I wouldn't put it past Kevin to do that either, but obviously I haven't read the book. It makes me think of Rebels because Ezra would walk around and say he's Lando, right?
Oh right, yeah.
Or no, he would or was it Jabba? Crap, I can't remember now.
Well, I know he claimed to be Lando a couple of times. I don't remember.
A couple of times, yeah. So he would like pretend to be different smugglers, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So
Yagi, that's Hutt. Hutt. Jabba the Hutt.
yep.
The big slime slug things. Gangsters.
Ho 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 ha ha ha. I don't have enough girth to do the laugh.
But Kevin's been a good friend to our channel. And we're excited that he's got some stuff coming out. He's also got, so he writes for the Star Wars Adventure comics, too, and they're fixing to do a big Han Solo storyline, starting on Free Comic Book Day, right?
Yep. So he's got a Free Comic Book Day issue, which he actually talked a little bit about in our interview with him, but he wasn't really allowed to talk about it yet. But there's going to be, on Free Comic Book Day, he's going to have an issue all about Han and Chewie. So for those of you who participate in Free Comic Book Day, go out and get this. It'd be a perfect way to kind of sample not just Kevin's writing, but Star Wars Adventures as a whole. It's a really good comic series. It's by IDW instead of Marvel, and they're fun. They're appropriate for younger readers, shall we say? But that doesn't stop them from being just good. Like, it's just good Star Wars pulp reading.
Right.
Like, you're not going to get like epic anything, but you're just going to sit there and smile because they're just fun little Star Wars things.
Yeah, I love them because Kevin is the only person so far in New Canon to let me see Dex outside of Attack of the Clones. And
he just recently brought Jackson, the big green rabbit, back into
Oh,
canon.
I saw him tweeting about that the other day. I've not read that yet, but he was so excited that Wikipedia had a canon article about him again.
Jackson the rabbit. He's the only other person I know who loves the Star Wars Holiday Special as much as we do.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised that he would bring back Jackson.
I know some of the friends of our channel really, really don't like the Holiday Special,
and don't like us anymore because of it. So,
but no, I'm unironically a fan of the Holiday Special. I legitimately thought about making B. Arthur's song and that my ringtone the other day.
It's a good part.
Yep.
But he also has a couple of issues outside of the Free Comic Book Day. It looks like issue 10 and issue 11. Of course, I mean comic book issues. I don't know enough about his personal life to know if he has issues.
And you can see the covers for them there on the stream. Also, all three of those covers. But no, I'm excited about that too. I'm glad when our friends get to sort of play around with characters in the Star Wars sandbox.
Because when I interviewed him, he was like so badly wanting to talk about something that he couldn't at all. And then it was like 2 weeks later he could talk about it. I was like, oh, dang it. Why couldn't you tell me? I would have waited 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to have to follow up with him again.
Right, as all this stuff comes out.
Especially after that cryptic tweet that he sent out the other day.
I know.
That I've still got that picture saved on my phone, and I look at it every now and again.
I want to know what the Resistance has to do with the Book of the Sith. It's driving me crazy.
My supposition, and I couldn't get him to respond to this on Twitter, but my supposition is that at least one, if not more than one of those books, he just put in there to try to throw people off the scent. Or because his editor was like, you can't tell people too directly what you're working on.
Right. So he just threw in some like pleasure reading too.
Right. But there are two other things that are tie-ins to this.
Yep.
So why don't we talk about the Ray Carson novel and the new Lando comic?
For the Ray Carson novel called Most Wanted, in a running theme, Ray Carson also wrote in the From a Certain Point of View, and she wrote my absolute favorite story called The Red One. And it's the story of the droid that Uncle Owen buys first before R2 that has a bad motivator and it blows up. Oh my god, the emotional journey of that story. I have never read, nor do I think I'll ever read again.
It was so sad. A piece of
literature that will take me on that journey. She's written a story in Canto Bight, which I have not gotten to her story. I've started Canto Bight, but I haven't gotten to hers yet. I'm excited to read that. I'm behind on Canto Bight. But this one, again from StarWars.com, Han and Kira don't have a lot in common other than not having a lot. They're street kids on the industrial planet of Corellia, doing what it takes to get by and dreaming of something more. They each jump at a chance to prove themselves in the perilous world of the planet's criminal underbelly, only to discover they're on the same mission for an unscrupulous boss, and things go on. What I'm the most excited about with that is that it pretty much confirms the planet we keep seeing in the trailers is Corellia.
Right, yeah.
Which is awesome. Corellia, I don't know, I never say it right. But that is so Han Solo in Legends has been a Corellian. Wedge Antilles also is one. And it's a planet that's really, really important in Legends canon. So it's nice to see it make it to the screen. But I'm excited to see these two characters' interactions when they're kids. I'm really curious what their dynamic is going to be, because the trailer plays it up as they're romantically interested in each other, but obviously they don't end up together.
Right.
So see what happens.
We haven't seen this in any of the trailers, but do you think that we would get a Rogue One style flashback since they've known each other since they were kids?
I think it's possible. I think there's gonna be so much going on in this movie because there's a lot of shots of a battlefield too.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna be like Han's Imperial service. And I don't know if that's gonna be told present day or if that's gonna be told flashback style. And I think I think the speeder chase scene that's in a lot of the trailers is going to be pre most of the movie.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to be told kind of flashbacky style, or if it's going to be truly like Rogue One, where we see a scene going on in a year and then we get the title and then we go into the movie.
Right. Another thing, I don't know that I've told you this yet even, and I'll apologize really quick if you hear noises coming from my end. It's because there are literally fighter jets circling over my house right now.
They found you.
We have an air show this weekend, and the Blue Angels are circling my house and have been for about half an hour now. And it's,
darn you, Blue Angels!
It's intermittently very, very loud. But when I forget his name, but I can't even remember the actor's name right now. But I feel so dumb right now. But the guy from the Hunger Games.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson, yes. I don't know his character's name.
His character's name is Woody. I don't care what it is in the movie. In my entire trailer breakdown, I called him Woody, and at one point I was like, yes, I know I'm calling him Woody, and yes, that is his name.
So we'll have Alan Alda and Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
But
television legends.
Every time he says the line in the trailers about not trusting anyone and you'll never be disappointed, what that always reminds me of is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes.
Where the guy's like, it's because he didn't take my advice. I told him not to trust people, and I meant not to trust me. And so I'm just waiting already for the moment where Woody Harrelson's character is going to be the one that does the betraying. That just feels inevitable to me.
I think everyone is going to betray everyone in this movie. That's my theory.
Yeah.
That's gonna be why he ends up being Han Solo.
Right. All by his lonesome with his best pal, not quite 200-year-old Chewie.
Chewie, right.
He's not 190, he's 192.
Yeah, get it right.
Don't
engage in a detail war on Twitter. That's what I learned.
But what about that?
Smile and say thank you.
Oh yeah. There's nothing else you can do. It's not worth the effort. But what about that last Lando comic? That's also a tie-in.
Yeah, really excited about that. I will look that up. So I mentioned before that Charles Soule did a Lando miniseries, so I'm really excited to see Lando come back. This is going to be another miniseries. I think it says 5 issues. This is by Rodney Barnes, and it goes on sale May 29. What I think is interesting about both this and Most Wanted, the Ray Carson novel, is they're coming out after. Ray Carson's book comes out on the day, and the comic starts a couple days after, where, like, Kevin Scott's Choose Your Own Adventure comes out on the 17th, same time as Last Shot. And then Free Comic Book Day is before the movie comes out. And the different issues are for adventures are being, one of them comes out in the same month, but like that's more just because they have a release schedule.
Right.
But what's interesting to me is Most Wanted and the Lando comic are the ones that are specifically coming out after the movie has premiered. So I kind of wonder if these are going to be, I don't know if spoilery is the right word, because I don't know that this movie is going to have things in it that can be really, really spoiled. But I wonder if that's just actually staggering a release schedule, or if it's because there's stuff in it that they don't want people to know yet.
Right. I do like that the comic, like the art, at least from the cover. Oh, it's so loud.
I can hear it. Yeah, that's crazy.
That the cover is Donald Glover's character, and not based on Billy D. Williams, just because there's a little continuity there. I like that he's being included in the art.
Yep. And the blurb, again from thestarwars.com, says, when a beautiful crime lord commissions the galaxy's most talented smuggler to help her free people enslaved by the Empire, Lando Calrissian must wager it all on an impossible mission fraught with danger. Set just prior to the events of Solo: A Star Wars Story, our charming scoundrel must face the Imperial forces with the help of his ship, the Millennium Falcon. So once again, he's being called the most talented smuggler.
Right. I wonder,
probably because
too,
he can just sweet talk anyone.
Oh, I'm sure. But do you remember in the other Lando comic, it starts off that he's like doing a job for some really like high up criminal underlord woman? I wonder if that's going to be like the same character there.
The start of the Lando comic, he's seducing an Imperial like moth.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Yeah.
That's what it's great. I love I'm not even going to say what happens in the opening of that comic because it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
You should read it. Because Lando really scams her. But in this one, I don't want to see this Lando being the best smuggler in the galaxy kind of thing. I want to know like what's up with that. And not that I have I think it's great that he is. It's just kind of funny because that was never like a thing in Legends. I feel like I'm used to the cover's way over there, and I'm not going to go get it. But I have Lando Calrissian and the Mind Harp of Saru.
Oh yeah.
Which one of these days I'm going to make myself read. I should just do I should read it, but I should record myself while I'm reading it. I can just make faces when all the weird stuff happens.
Right. Well, chat is pretty happening right now.
Chat is pretty, we got a lot of Wolfpackers in here. I see Rob just showed up, even though he must have heard us talking about the holiday special, so Rob showed up. Sarge is still here, Kiana's still here. I see McYagi showed up. I know Voltix is lurking. He's playing Monster Hunter. There's a lot of people watching. I know Couchbum's lurking. He just doesn't have his headphones in. Pokemon Planet is also known as a fellow who has a all Pokemon channel. It's pretty good.
Our pal Flames Plays was here earlier.
Oh, too. Yeah, Flames was here too. Yep. There's a lot of people just kind of watching it. I really appreciate it. We're part of a group called the YouTube Wolfpack, which I like to promote all the time. That we all help each other out and provide technical and creative advice and stuff. It's pretty cool. A lot of cool people.
But yeah, we're getting down to that part of the stream. So if there's anything any of you guys want us to talk about, whether it's solo stuff or these books and comics or anything.
What books or comics do you guys think would interest you the most? Like if you were gonna, let's say one could just magically appear on your doorstep, which one would you be the most interested in? I think right now I'm probably the most interested in Last Shot, but that's also because it's coming out soonest.
Right.
And after that's probably the Lando comic, Double or Nothing. But I think the reason behind both of those is I just want Lando content.
Yeah.
To be honest, I want to read Most Wanted by Ray Carson just because I've liked what Ray Carson has done so far. But right now I think I'm less interested in Kira. But I don't think that's a reflection of Kira. I think that's a reflection of me not knowing anything about her.
Right. No, I'm definitely excited for Last Shot. Again, I feel like this is the one that's going to be, I guess, for lack of a better analogy, kind of the catalyst for this movie.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
the Rebel Rising, I guess, in a way. Like, I guess both of those books kind of fill those roles.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited for the Lando comic too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's the timing of these that I think are mostly informing which ones I'm mostly excited about.
Yep. Yep. I think that's a big thing for me too.
Miyagi wants a book on Yoda's life.
I want a movie on Yoda's life.
I don't. Pokemon Planet wants the same thing. I want nothing about Yoda ever. Like, give me Yoda stories, but I don't want Yoda backstories.
That's fair.
I'm one of those people that wants everything about Yoda's childhood to still be a mystery forever and ever.
I guess I'm kind of an odd one in the sense that I'm a huge Yoda fan.
Yeah.
But I do want the Yoda backstory. I think a lot of like the big Yoda heads want the mystery kept also. But I think for me, in my head, Yoda's backstory isn't interesting. Like, I think he was a tadpole for like 5 years because he's an ancient species, so you would grow slow. So he spent like 5 years as a tadpole swimming around, and then he became like a little toadlet for like 5 years, and then he went to the Jedi Temple. And like, for me, in my head, his story is just boring, and then it didn't become interesting until he became a Jedi. So like, in that sense, I want that story, but I would also be fine with it because I'm not expecting anything super exciting.
See, now,
I think I'd be...
I'll qualify this because I would like to see, like, we know Yoda trained Count Dooku. Like, I would love to see, like, a Padawan Count Dooku. I'd even want to see, like, Padawan Yoda. Like, I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff that could go on there, too.
Once it becomes a Jedi, I think I'm all for it.
I just don't want that early stuff. I love the idea that, that species and planet and everything is something
that we don't know about it.
Yeah.
And that makes total sense. And to be honest, like, the way Jedi work anyway, the early stuff would be him being a tadpole. Like, there would be no story to tell.
Right.
Anyway, like, I would be fine with the Yoda story that started when he came to the Jedi Temple. But the other reason why I'd really like that is I would love to see what the new canon considers anything pre-Phantom Menace. I am not aware of anything canon that's pre-Phantom Menace, unless I'm missing something really obvious.
Not that I can think of, because Catalyst doesn't go back that far. Tarkin doesn't go back that far.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we don't even really have a lot of, like, Clone Wars era canon stuff apart from the Clone Wars.
From the cartoon itself. Yeah, I think the only thing we really have is, like, shout outs in the visual dictionary for Last Jedi that talk about, like, the Prime Jedi and stuff, but it's all super vague.
Right.
Like, super vague, and we don't even know where it fits in the timeline because the Old Republic, even though the Old Republic by BioWare, the KOTOR MMO, it's still going, but it's not canon.
Right.
And that's something I've had to explain to a lot of people who are like, but this is still canon. No, it's not. But it doesn't affect the movies. That's true. So why isn't it canon? Because it's not. Like, I'm just really sick of having that conversation.
Yeah, it seems to be one we're having a lot lately. But yeah, even the Plagueis novel is not canon anymore.
No, I mean, I feel like a lot of it is probably true, just because Lucino, like, he pulled in a lot of stuff into Tarkin from it, I think. But it's kind of like the Plagueis novel is kind of like Shatterpoint right now. Like, there's stuff in Plagueis that's still true, but the novel itself is not canon.
Yeah. But yeah, I haven't even thought about it, but yeah, we don't really have anything sort of pre-Phantom Menace right now. Let's see. Pokemon Planet also says he could want some Mace Windu stuff.
I always want Mace Windu stuff.
I would love Mace Windu stuff too. Did we ever know who Mace Windu's master was? Like, have we
Oh,
ever
yeah.
seen Padawan Mace?
In canon, actually, yeah. The thing the Mace Windu comic I just read has. Hold on, I'm gonna grab it and hope my mic isn't too ugly. So I recently read and reviewed this. There's a really tiny flashback, but here's. I don't know if I got it in frame or. Let me go back to Discord and then I can see if I have it in frame or not. Yeah. So there's like baby Mace there.
Oh yeah.
And then he's not really a baby there, but still. And then this is his in canon Jedi Master.
Cool.
In Legends, I think we knew too, but she was never, or he or she, whoever it was not a big deal. What's cool here is I think this Jedi, the species is the same as, looks to be the same as Barasafi in Luminara.
Right.
I don't know that for a fact, but they just look close enough where it could be. This comic was pretty good, but I have a review on that if anyone's interested.
Right. Well, while we're talking about this, I don't know if we've talked about this on our Streamcast before, but I know you and I kind of feel the same about this, but what do you think about either the likelihood or would you want an Obi-Wan movie?
An Obi-Wan movie. Yeah, so because that's I only want it if they get Ewan McGregor. I have no interest if it's not Ewan McGregor because unless it's like a really young Obi-Wan movie.
Right.
Like if they do Obi-Wan and Satine on Mandalore, then obviously you'd cast a much younger person. But if they do any kind of post Revenge of the Sith until A New Hope movie for Kenobi, I'm only interested if they get Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
The thing is, I know a lot of people want that movie. I just don't know how interesting that movie would be. I mean, I know there's a Kenobi novel in Legends by John Jackson Miller that was really well received, and Obi-Wan has appeared in flashbacks in the main Marvel Star Wars comic line, and those are all interesting, but they're not movies. Like Obi-Wan's life is he went to a desert and kept sand people away from the Lars homestead. Like, do you really want, like, what movie are you going to make from that? It's going to be a lot of, I mean, I feel like super fans would love it because it would be a lot about Obi-Wan learning how to become a Force ghost and that kind of stuff that I would enjoy, but I don't know if the movie would do well. Well,
and I feel like the story from a certain point of view, Master and Apprentice, that gave me all of that I could want. Honestly, that met that need for me to both see Obi-Wan doing the thing and protecting Luke, and to get that interaction, where he's becoming a Force ghost. Master and Apprentice, and then Time of Death are the two that kind of check those boxes for me.
No, I completely agree.
But we're getting pretty close on time. Anybody else in chat? It's like Wee Hours Games has shown up recently, and Rob stuck his head in. I think you mentioned Rob a minute ago.
Yeah. I was going to say two quick things, unless you had anything else you wanted to add.
Go for it.
One is on the Last Shot novel. We didn't really talk about this, mostly because I haven't read them yet, but there are 2 excerpts that are on StarWars.com. When this video eventually gets published, not live, I'm going to put links to those in the description if anyone's interested in trying the book out a little bit. At this point, I'm probably not going to read the excerpts because I already know I'm going to read the book, and I'd rather just kind of enjoy it. But I will put that there for anybody who might want to try it out. And how would you feel if we tried something new on the Streamcast? I know this is kind of a live podcast and not a gaming podcast, but how would you all feel if I dropped a link in chat and we when we say goodbye, we all go say hi to someone else?
Works for me.
All right. So that will be the last thing we do. I don't know if anyone else has anything else going
on. Pokemon Planet wants to know if we think Obi-Wan, Luke, and Yoda will come back in episode 9.
I think Luke definitely. Luke 100%. How amazing would it be if we actually got Luke and Anakin as Force ghosts?
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
I don't think I could handle it. I think I would squeeze so hard they would have to remove me. They would have to remove me from the movie theater. Because I really wanted Anakin to talk to Kylo and be like, "What is your freaking problem?" Like that. I really just feel like that, like the how it should have ended for the sequel trilogy as a whole is the Force ghost of Anakin visits Kylo and just goes, "What is your deal?"
And neither one of them are wearing shirts.
And yes, it's like both of them shirtless. Like Anakin shows up, like, "Look, I'm gonna pump some iron because apparently this is the language you speak, and tell you to get your act together. And don't do stupid things for a woman because it doesn't work out well."
Yeah. You can mess up the whole galaxy.
Yep. We got Wee Hours Games, who snuck in here towards the end. He's another good wolf packer. Me and Obi-Wan sitting on Tatooine 19 years creepily watching Luke wouldn't be an exciting movie. I know, I just don't think it would work.
But while we're winding down here, I want to remind you all, if you're not already, which I think most of you probably are, go ahead and subscribe. If you do it right now, you might get a fancy animation thing that we're trying to set up. Maybe that would work.
Maybe. I don't have Streamlabs open, so I don't know if it'll work.
Either way, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. Hit that bell so you can get notified when we go live. We've got 2 different live shows now, so make sure you're not missing either one of them.
So Tuesday, I should be continuing to... I say Yagi just tried to subscribe. I got the Chrome notification, but it didn't go off. It's probably because I don't have Streamlabs open, so it probably didn't work. I'll have it open next time, I promise. But I was saying, so Tuesday I'll be continuing my KOTOR playthrough at about noon Eastern Standard, which is about an hour sooner than this started. And then Thursday, hopefully we'll be back doing this again next week.
And make sure you're following us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We've got a Tumblr out there that we've not used in like 5 years. If anybody wants to go find that.
Yeah, if you ever want to visit a non-existent Tumblr, I think it would be great.
And of course, you can find us on our blog site at port-haven.com and our forums at forums.port-haven.com. All the dots and dashes. So who have you picked out to send our friends to visit?
I'm gonna drop a link. We're actually gonna be heading over to Twitch, so hopefully this works. But it's a buddy of mine named Absurdum who I've been watching. I found him playing XCOM 2 back in July, and he's currently playing a game that I do not understand, but science is colors in that game.
Okay.
So if you all want to follow that link and tell him we sent you, and if you haven't started following him, give him a follow. He's getting very close to 100 follows, I think. On the he used to be on YouTube, but he's more on Twitch now. But that's it for us. I don't have anything else to say anyway.
Nope, that's it for me too. So follow us on all the things. Check out, they say the link's broken. We may want to check that.
It's the link that's on the page. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Share. I'll get the share link. We'll do this. See if this works. Promise. YouTube does not like Twitch links.
I'm still surprised that YouTube just hasn't bought Twitch yet.
Right. Yep. No, the share link doesn't even work. Dang it! It's ruined. Just ruined. Okay. This is fascinating. It's the same link though. Like that's his link. If the link doesn't work, like searching that name on Twitch will work. But that's it for what I got, and
it's gonna do it for me too.
Yep, I hope to see you all Tuesday, and if not Thursday. Thank you for everyone who's here. If you're a Wolfpacker and you want just like Howl or something, and then people who watch will know that you are a content creator. Voltix, I know you're not in the pack, but you do stuff, so go ahead and shout yourself out as well. And I will talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.